Welcome to the Bungle Jungle, where we can't even stand watching the sport we talk about. Hey everybody, welcome back to the Bungle Jungle. I'm your host, Zach Coldiron, joined here by my co-host, Sean.
Howdy, howdy.
And today we've got a special guest. This is our first special guest on the podcast. We've had some, MCU level cameo appearances, but this is our first guest. We'd like to welcome our resident Packers fan, Hunter.
Good evening.
The long pause.
What's up, y'all?
Good evening.
Happy to have you here, man.
Seriously, dude, it's
I'm glad to be here too.
I'm tired
I'm
of
glad to
talking
be
this
here. I
guy all
look
fucking
forward
time.
to
Ow! That hurt.
I
A
look
little bit.
bringing some sanity to this podcast.
That's funny.
Yeah,
You think
to bring
about
order.
I'm excited.
Okay. All right. So we got a couple things on the agenda today, boys. First things first. This is probably irrelevant to Hunter, but he can obviously put his 2 cents in on this because we always open up with talking about the Cincinnati Bengals. And man, I'm not gonna lie. I don't know if you two had the well, I know Sean had the opportunity to watch a game. Hunter, I didn't know if you had the opportunity to watch the Sunday Night Football game against the Giants, but man, it was, as Joe Burrow said, ugly. What are you guys' thoughts on that?
Hunter, I'll let you go ahead and start this off and give us your thoughts on those comments that Joe Burrow had said on Sunday night.
So, to start off, I just want to say I'm a big Joe Burrow fan. I like Joe Burrow. I think he's that dude. He's in the MVP running, conversation, the whole 9 yards. That being said, what a fucking shit show the coaching has been for that team. Defensively, I don't know what's going on. They look good 1 week, 2 weeks into the season, they look all right, and they just fall apart. I've been saying it since Zach Taylor was the coach for the Super Bowl loss the Bengals had. You guys know I've been saying this for a long time. He's not the answer at head coach. His ceiling was that Super Bowl run. He needs to go. I'm not saying during the season, but if there's not a major turnaround and a major run in the playoffs, he's got to go. The defensive coordinator, the team's got too much talent on it to be playing like this. You're playing down to bad teams, okay? At best, the Giants are an average team, at best. But you're playing down to your competition, and then when you have your opportunities against great teams, you don't seal the deal. Your defense gives up too many points.
Yep.
The offense gives the ball up in key situations. You know, Joe Burrow can't go out there and play defense. Joe Burrow can't go out there and make every play call. He can't go out there and make every catch. He can't go out there and run the football. You know, initially when I watched the season, my concern was him because of his health. But for me right now, it's everything but him at this point in Cincinnati. I like the organization, the way it's been run last couple years, securing young stars' futures and such, but they are getting to that point where the window for the Super Bowl is going to start closing because there's salary cap issues. They're going to have to start losing great pieces to retain elite pieces. And then they're going to have to supplement that by having good drafts. I haven't kept up with the Bengals drafts the last few years. I know there's a guy named Jamar Chase that's pretty good on that team. There's a guy named T. Higgins on that team that's pretty good. I don't know what's going to happen with T. There's rumors of T. Higgins going to Washington. So who knows?
Yeah,
the Bengals got to turn it around, though, or Zach Taylor's fired. If they don't turn around, he's fired.
No, I honestly think you said it best, Hunter. I mean, coaching is becoming a huge concern. Even on the defensive side of things, like you had also mentioned. I mean, a couple of years ago, Lou Anarumo was doing a fantastic job, and the loss of DJ Reader and Jesse Bates obviously was, a significant loss. We're giving up fucking 30 points a game, and we're putting up 30 points a game. Obviously, we got a great offense, and defense is obviously a major issue, a big concern, and the Bengals really need to step it up and turn it around before the deadline. There's rumors out there that Max Crosby, could come over to the Bengals. But is that really going to patch things up? He's old. I'm not saying he's washed, but is he going to be, a key factor? That Sunday night game was really ugly. I know the Giants are, like you said, average team. I think they're even below average. The only thing they've got going on for them right now is probably their defense. I mean, they lead the league right now currently in sacks. They got to Joe Burrow, a handful of times on Sunday night. So the Bengals' future I'm concerned, man, but I'm kind of excited and trying to be optimistic over these, next couple of weeks. The schedule's starting to, we have one of the easiest schedules in the league. And we're struggling. We don't even have a win at home. Something's got to happen. I truly think I agree. Zach Taylor has got to go. It's tough being a Bengal fan, man. It really is. I wish at this point in time I was a Packer fan.
I'm happy
to add on to that.
Oh, go ahead.
Oh, sorry. Just to add on to that real quick. The Bengals are experiencing what the Packers experienced after beating the Steelers in the Super Bowl. You have an elite quarterback, one of the best in the league. You have an elite wide receiver core, one of the best in the league, but no defense. You have no defense, and you have a front office that's running around trying to figure it out, and they can't figure it out. You've got a head coach who's a lame duck, Mike McCarthy. Zach Taylor is your Mike McCarthy for the 2010s Packers. I compare the Bengals to the post-Super Bowl victory Packers. Just the end result for the Bengals was they lost. If the Packers lost, they would be like the Bengals are right now. That's how they'd be viewed. And so that's a big concern for me is you can't keep a lame duck head coach a head coach. He already tapped out. Anyways, sorry.
Yeah, we're all on the FCT bandwagon. Fire Zach Taylor. Because, dude, that dude can't coach for shit. I'm over here being an armchair coach. And I'm not saying I know football, but I know enough ball to get me by. And that man's play calling is abysmal. And I know I harped on this last week. Why the fuck do you run the ball 3 times in a row in overtime in a key divisional matchup? That alone should warrant him being on the fucking hot seat. Because I don't know who would make a conservative fucking play call.
Quarterback.
You don't take the ball out of your best player's hands in the key situation. In that exact situation, who do you think should get the ball in their hands? If this was the NBA, you'd give it to Kobe. If this is the NFL, you give it to Joe Burrow. You've got to let your playmakers have the ball. You got to let them try to connect with Jamar Chase, make a play. At least once. You got to try. That's terrible play calling. Terrible.
Absolutely.
Yep. That's what's going to kill us. It already is killing us at this fucking point.
Yes, sir.
Speaking of killing things, the Browns organization is getting murdered because they just lost Amari Cooper to the Buffalo Bills. I don't know if you guys saw that news. The wide receiver market, the trades have been kind of crazy this week as both Amari Cooper goes to the Bills and Davantae Adams joins the Jets. It seems like Josh Allen's prayers have been answered. Did you guys happen to see any news about that, and what are your thoughts?
Reunited, and it feels so good, brother. I think everyone across the league who follows the NFL, saw that news. But who really came out on top in that trade? You have an interim head coach, a 2-4 record. Is a 31-year-old wide receiver really going to fix it? Just like I mentioned with the Max Crosby situation for the Bengals defense? Absolutely fucking not. At the end of the day, I think Amari Cooper and the Bills, they won that trade 100%. Obviously the Bills needed help at wide receiver. They have a really good guy. He's not the greatest route runner, but Amari Cooper has got some sticky fucking hands, dude. And Josh Allen, the way he's been playing this year, I think that's going to be that offense is going to be very, very dangerous. Zach, what are your thoughts? Or Hunter?
Zach, do you want to go?
No, you go ahead, man.
All right. Well, I'll just go from one to the other. I'll start with the Jets because I think that trade is less helpful to them than Amari Cooper to the Bills, just like Sean. So I'll start with the Jets. And being a longtime Packers fan, talking about my fandom there, that's my favorite quarterback and my favorite wide receiver of all time. The greatest wide receiver quarterback connection of all time. You could put a blindfold on Aaron Rodgers' head, and if you tell Davantae the route, Aaron's going to hit him, even though he can't see a dang thing. It's not going to help him. It's not going to fix anything. You've got elite wide receiver. You've got Garrett Wilson. You've got an okay number 2 with Allen Lazard. Okay? So, yeah, you need an elite number 2 to complement Garrett Wilson. Okay? So, who's the one? Garrett Wilson or Davantae? Davante's probably the one because it's Aaron's favorite guy. So Garrett Wilson's now your 2. That doesn't fix your up and down O-line, because some weeks they look okay against bad teams, and then against good pass rushers they look terrible. So that's not going to fix your O-line issues, and it's not going to help the issues that Aaron's having at quarterback right now. He's having tons of issues. He's not looking like himself out there. I don't think Aaron Rodgers had a 300 passing yard game in, I don't want to say a definite number, but it's over 10 games, I believe. He has not thrown for 300 yards. Okay?
I mean,
he's not.
When you have traffic cones as an offensive line, that's going to happen.
Traffic cones and offensive line, you're not hitting your receivers. You guys aren't, there's no chemistry. This is what happens, and I'm just going to say this right now. This guy was notorious for fucking a decade after winning the Super Bowl. He never, ever played in the preseason. He never, ever participated in off-season workouts and programs to build chemistry with his wide receivers and such. And it never worked. And Green Bay, every year, while he was the quarterback, week 1 and week 2, we struggled. I remember week 1 of, I think it was 2018, 2017, one of the two, we played the Saints and we got blown out 43-3 in week 1. It's Aaron Rodgers has his own issues, and it's not going to work itself out there. Davantae going there, it's going to be great for Davantae. He's going to get all sorts of targets. Davante's numbers are going to be fantastic. Congratulations, Davantae Adams owners in fantasy. Congratulations. W for Davantae owners. Aaron Rodgers fantasy owners, W for you there. It's going to help his numbers. But as far as the organization and getting a couple wins, it's not going to net you any wins. It may net you a few big passing plays and pretty chunk yards here and there, but it's not going to do much. And then going to the Bills, the exact opposite. What did the Bills need? They needed an elite wide receiver. I don't know if Amari's still elite. I don't know if he's still elite. He's still that dude in a sense of he's a good starting wide receiver in this league. He's better than anything else the Bills have. They've got Dalton Kincaid out there, and they've got a rookie, Keon Coleman, I think is his name, and Khalil Shakur is the other guy, if I'm correct.
Correct.
And their running back group is okay, not excellent, not top 5 in the league, but good. But you don't have an elite talent out there. Amari's the closest thing to elite talent besides Davantae on the market. And for the Amari price that they paid, they won that trade. I mean, the Browns gave him up for a bag of fucking stale potato chips. I mean, it's because the Browns are going to have a fire sale. Just to round this back to the Browns and bringing the Browns up earlier and that they're a complete crap show. This, and I'm just going to say this is what I've been saying to my brother. If I'm not a Packers fan, I'm rooting for the Commanders, the Redskins, or the Browns. The Browns are my brother's team. They deserve every bit of what is happening to them. The Browns were everyone's favorite underdog team. Everyone loved them. Everyone loved the Browns. Not one person in the league wanted the Browns to suck unless you were a Bengals, Ravens, or Steelers fan. Everybody else universally wanted the Browns to have some virtue and success. And they finally got it with Baker Mayfield. He plays with an injured shoulder after taking him to the playoffs the year before. And you get rid of him for a guy who is a not convicted, but highly suspected rapist. You got rid of him for Diddy of the NFL. And you're getting rid of a generational, charismatic leader in Baker who can help reform franchises. The Bucks, after Brady leaves, there's a huge void. He comes in, fills that void, takes them to the playoffs, beats the Eagles. I was there for that game. It was awesome. He's a good quarterback. He's better than Deshaun. And to give up Baker, who won your first playoff game against your arch rival, the big brother, Steelers, and you give him up to go give him the largest guaranteed contract of all time, this is exactly what you get. This is exactly what you get. Because now Deshaun doesn't have to play a single down. He doesn't have to play a single down. He could say every week, my toe hurts, I can't play. And they still have to pay him $250 million. I think next year he's a $93 million dead cap hit.
Oh,
there's nothing they can do to get out from under, there's nothing they can do to get out from underneath him. That's why they're getting rid of Amari. It's not because they want to. It's because they can't afford it. They're getting rid of him so they can clear money for Deshaun because they're deciding internally right now, do we eat this Deshaun money or do we keep him around? Because either way, whether you get rid of him or you keep him, you have to pay him. That's why they got rid of Amari, because they have to sell. We're not talking just Amari Cooper's leaving. Myles Garrett's next. Mark my words. Myles Garrett's next.
Oh my God.
Nick Chubb, think about that. They're going to have a fire sale. Nick Chubb, Myles Garrett, David Njoku, all these guys that are studs for them, they're going to become trade targets. They're going to get a piddly amount of picks for these guys. Myles Garrett might, and mark my words, if Detroit's smart, Detroit has Aiden Hutchinson on a rookie contract. I don't know what their salary cap looks like, but if Myles Garrett's on a decent enough deal, why don't the Lions come in and make a pick trade for Myles Garrett to replace Aiden Hutchinson while he's out? 1 year rental kind of thing. If he's on a 1 year contract, you get him in there. If he's on 2 years, you still bring him in there because then he can be on the opposite side of Aiden. I'm just ranting at this point, but the Browns deserve everything that's happened to them. Congratulations, Bills. Congratulations, Davantae Adams fantasy owners. Jets, Jets. We don't care about our offensive line.
Dude, as a Davantae fantasy owner, I'm over here plotting, especially when I'm sitting at 5-1 in our fantasy league, because all I know is we're going to see dots from A-Rod to Davantae. God bless. That was an awesome trade. And for Amari Cooper, brother, you're going to be valued and appreciated in Buffalo. Let me tell you. You might even win yourself a damn Super Bowl ring. You have been set up for success, and you are now no longer a part of the toilet bowl. Congratulations. You no longer have to deal with the most scummy, shitty organization that drove out one of the greatest football minds out of Cleveland to Cincinnati, Ohio. Fuck you, Cleveland, and fuck you, Deshaun Watson. That's all I got to say about that shit. Anyways, we're going to go to our regularly scheduled quote-unquote break with Sean's selections. Sean, tell me, what kind of financial advice can you give me? Considering, well, I kind of need it right now.
Financial advice? I don't think so, pal. This obviously is not financial advice. I know last week I said this is a guaranteed hit. Guess what happened? It didn't fucking hit. I don't even think we're fucking 6-7 weeks in. I don't even want to call this Sean selections at this point. This is fucking Sean sucks, right? I mean, I don't know. Let's get right into it. I shout out Prize Picks. I made a switch over. Fuck Hard Rock. They like to take my money. Vegas, faggot. Sorry, cut that out. We got a censor button. Anyway, this week I like Joe Mixon over 58.5 yards against Green Bay. I know Green Bay, has a great young defense around them. But, 58.5 yards for Joe Mixon. He had that one big run last week. I can see that hitting. Jane Daniels, over 242.5 passing yards against the Panthers. I'm not even going to, say it's the Panthers. All right. The only one I'm worried about here, this is a 3-leg parlay. Derrick Henry, over 93.5 rushing yards against Tampa Bay. Tampa Bay has a bottom 10 rush defense at this point in the season. Derrick Henry has hit 93.5 rushing yards in more than half of the games this season. If this hits, you're winning 5 times your money on Prize Picks. We are not sponsored. Shout out Prize Picks. That's Sean sucks. Sean selection sucks. Thank you for listening to me rant.
Well, you're very welcome. All right. So we usually close out the podcast with this week, but this week's been kind of weird. I know we didn't do any picks last week for the little bet me and Sean have going on. However, we did make our selections. I went 12-2 with my selections, only getting the Chargers-Broncos game and the Washington Commanders and Baltimore Ravens game wrong. And I'm at 53 total points. Sean, where are you sitting at on the season?
Let me take a gander at my pool here. Also, Hurricane Milton can suck a bag of dicks for not letting us, record last week. As of right now, I'm at 48 total points, so it's still within 5 points. The only ones I got wrong last week, well, I went 9-5. So I got I had the Jags winning, that didn't fucking happen. Broncos winning, that didn't happen. I was really hoping the Raiders would beat the Steelers and the Commanders beating the Ravens, obviously as a AFC North hater for every other team but the Bengals. Got that one wrong along with the Seahawks. I thought they would be a little bit hard to play with at home. That's what she said. Yeah, so 9-5, 5-point difference. Still a tight race, brother. I'm going to take that $50 from you.
Yeah, we'll see. We'll see.
Okay, buddy. Sure.
Well, we're going to get Hunter involved in this week.
Oh, yeah.
We should, all right. The loser should have to do something. If whoever gets the least amount of picks right should have to do a challenge. What do you guys think it should be?
24-hour Waffle House challenge wearing nothing but nipple pasties and boxers. No, I'm just kidding. I'm throwing ideas out here. I'm trying to help here.
Silence, dogs.
Oh, I have an idea. They have to join the podcast next week and write a 5-minute long speech on why their division rival is the best team in football.
Oh, fuck. You know me, I love the Ravens, guys.
You guys know me,
Lamar
I love the
Jackson's better than
Steelers.
Pat Mahomes.
Actually, I'm going to choose the Browns. I'd choose the Browns because I talked so much shit about them on this podcast already. All right, Hunter, you in on this? You have to write a 5-minute long speech about your Chicago Bears.
I'm sure he's gagging right now.
I'll tell you, it being a love letter to the tradition that is the Chicago Bears franchise. I won't say exactly what tradition I'm talking about, but it definitely isn't anything to do with the 85 Bears.
Bear down.
All right, so we've come to an agreement. So we'll start with the NFC, then we'll do the interconference matchups, then we'll do the AFC. So we're going to start with the Detroit Lions, who are going out to Minnesota to play the Vikings this week. I believe the Vikings just came off a bye week, so they had a little extra time to recover. Personally, on my end, I'm choosing the Lions. Hutch is out for the season. That's a big hurt to their defense, but that doesn't mean that they don't have an elite offense and still an elite defense. I think the Lions are going to come out on top on this one.
I agree. Vikings have been very surprising all year. One of 2 undefeated teams left this season. The big loss with Aiden Hutchinson is going to be a big issue. But after last week, I can't tell if the Lions are elite or the Cowboys are that fucking bad. But I do like your pick. I am going to go ahead and take Detroit on the road.
I'm going to go against the grain here, and I'm going to take the Minnesota Vikings. Listen, they're coming off a bye week. The Minnesota Vikings are a complete team. They have a good defense. They have a good offense. The only question mark on their team is this the real Sam Darnold? If this is the real Sam Darnold, this Viking team can go far. The Detroit Lions don't have a defense. Their pass rush is really good, but without Aiden Hutchinson, I think that's going to be a big blow for them. Their secondary is improving, but they're inconsistent on defense. I think the Vikings are a more complete team. I think the Lions have a more star-studded offense, but I think the Minnesota Vikings defense will be the X factor for this game with their ability to get turnovers. So I'll take the Vikings.
All right. Enjoy your 5-minute speech next week.
All right. So the next game, we've got the Seattle Seahawks coming off of a mini bye week, going to Atlanta to play the Falcons. And you guys know how I feel about Geno Smith. That man's a fucking fraud if I ever seen one. That man should be arrested for money laundering because his numbers are clearly inflated like our economy. And, Kirko Chains looks like an absolute fucking dog this year. And that Atlanta secondary is scary as shit, so give me the Atlanta Falcons.
I will say, Geno Smith leads the league in passing. You are right, though. Those numbers are a little inflated. Seattle really hasn't played that, many hot teams so far this year. I'm going to go ahead and take the Falcons also at home.
On this one, I'm inclined to agree with the group here. I'm inclined to agree that the Falcons will win. I think it's going to be a close game, but previously, like the Vikings to the Lions, I think the Falcons are a bit more of a complete team. I think the Seahawks are still putting it together somewhat in certain areas, and I don't know how I feel about Geno Smith. I know that he's had a resurgence in his career, and all commendations to him, but just like Sam Darnold, if this is the real Geno Smith, okay, I can see them winning, but I don't know. I haven't seen that guy come up clutch in a playoff game yet or something. There's not a signature win. So I'm going to take not the Vikings, excuse me. Kirk Cousins. I'm going to take Kirk Cousins and the Falcons. That's why I said Vikings.
All right. So seems like we're all on the same page here. The next game we have is a divisional matchup. The Philadelphia Eagles are going to New York, to MetLife Stadium, where they play the New York Giants. I don't even need to explain this one. I think the Eagles are winning.
Yeah, I'm going to go ahead and say the same. I know Malik Neighbors is coming back. Missed the last 2 games due to concussion that he suffered in week 4. The Giants, I don't know, man. They have a great defense. Eagles are, I wouldn't say more complete. The Eagles have, kind of been getting exposed lately, and Nick Sirianni's ego is getting just, don't even want to talk about it. But unfortunately, yeah, give me the Eagles.
I almost want to play against the grain again here. Play devil's advocate. The Giants are if I was a betting man and the underdog odds looked good, I would take the Giants because they seem like a trap game for the Eagles. The Eagles are coming off against a hard-fought victory against the Browns, who offensively are garbage. Okay, so the Giants are better on offense. In the same realm as the Browns defense. The Browns defense is better, but they're in that same realm of upper tier defenses. I think the Eagles are due a trap game. I've talked myself into it. I'm taking the Giants.
yeah. We're gonna hear a nice little essay about the 85 Bears next week, I think, guys.
That or I'm gonna look like a genius.
And then me and Sean, if we tie, we both have to do a 5-minute love letter each. Oh God, that'd be terrible. Oh no.
I'll tell you what, if I win and you both tie and you're lost, you got to do it as a love letter to the Packers.
You know what? That's fair enough. At least I don't have to say good things about Cleveland.
But the Packers are my second favorite team.
Well, then you know what?
Then
it's got to be a punishment. So no, you got to go Ravens and.
I tried to get out of it, guys. I tried. All right. So
what's the next?
Move on to the next one. We got the Carolina Panthers, led by Andy Dalton, flying to Washington, D.C., where they're going to decide who's going to be president of the United States. And why is it Jaden Daniels? Because that man's winning MVP this year. Give me the Commanders.
Yep, I'll take the Redskins.
Hail to the Redskins. Yeah, I'm going with the Redskins on this one. On the Commanders. Jaden Daniels, he's having an all-time great season if this consists throughout the season. I think at the end of the year, we're going to look at maybe 3 to 5 man MVP race between him, Burrow, Love, and then insert Lamar Jackson in that conversation as well. And maybe Josh Allen if the Amari Cooper trade works out.
All right.
But yeah, I'll go with the group here. I'm taking the Redskins.
Fair enough. All right, let's get into the interconference matchups here. We're going to do the Broncos are going to Nolans. And personally, this game, I think it's actually going to be the first good Thursday night football game of this year. Because I'm not going to lie, Thursday night football fucking sucks to watch. And I think this is going to be, unfortunately, maybe for you offensive lovers, this is going to be a defensive game. These are two of the best defenses in the league. Now, I'm not saying top 1 and top 2, but these are two fucking good defenses, man. And personally, I'm more in favor of who's got the better offense here, because I think this is going to be a strong defensive game. I think the Saints are going to get it done. I understand Derek Carr's hurt. Spencer Rattler stepping in. He didn't look too bad. He didn't look good either, but he's got great receivers. They have a decent O-line. I think the Saints will get it done.
Yeah, I'm a little torn here. It could, be a toss-up either way. You did make a good point. Both teams do have a, really, really great, team around them on defense. I know I said about an hour ago, we were talking at dinner that, the Saints would come out on top, but I'm liking Bo Nix. I know they're both rookie quarterbacks, and, Bo Nix has a little bit more experience. He's played a little bit more games than Spencer has. I know Spencer looked decent, last week. I mean, they put up 27 points in one quarter and, pissed themselves the other 3 quarters. But I like the Broncos on the road here. I'm going to take Denver.
Interesting. All right. Well, this one to me, who's the home team?
Saints.
New Orleans.
Saints are the home team. So Sean Payton's coming home to New Orleans. All right. I want to say the Broncos because I think the Broncos defense is going to have a good game against Spencer Rattler. They have a very, very good secondary. Pat Surtain the second or third. I think it's the third. They're very good. That secondary is very good. They might get a few key turnovers. And their offense, Bo Nix is showing some improvement. Cortland Sutton, that man's so consistent. They've got a decent running back committee. Saints, however, conversely, they also have a good secondary. They have a good pass rush. Offensively, they're probably a little bit more dynamic than the Broncos. Really, it comes down to how good do you think Spencer Rattler is, in my opinion. Do you think he can go out there and put up 27 points, not in garbage time, against the Broncos? So I'm gonna go out on a limb here, and I'm gonna say the Broncos win.
All right,
let's ride.
All right, we're gonna skip this game because we're gonna save our teams for last. Because who knows what kind of lengthy, heated discussions we might get into. So we're going to go, we got the Raiders, who just lost their best wide receiver. And I'm not sure if Max Crosby's playing this week. I'm not sure if he's still on the injury report. But they're going to Los Angeles. They're going to go play the biggest frauds in the NFL, the Los Angeles Rams. Fuck the Rams. Fuck Sean McVay. I've got... The Rams are just out too many key players right now, man. And I don't think Pookie Bear nor Koopy Cuppy is active yet. And that's a big hindrance to their offense. Their defense is just kind of The Raiders have a good rush defense. However, their pass defense sucks absolute cock. So this could be a toss-up. I'm going to take the Raiders on this one, though, personally. I think their new wide receiver one's going to have a lot of big shoes to fill. And Aiden O'Connell, I don't know, he's not bad. He's not good either, but at least he's not Gardner Minshew.
I'm gonna take the Rams here. I know you mentioned that Pookie is hurt. He's looking great in his young career. Cooper Kupp actually might play, from what I'm hearing. I don't have any sources. I wish I did, but on the injury report today, he did show a limited practice. So that is showing a little bit of promising news into the week here that he might pop out and play. Raiders side of things on the injury report, Max Crosby and Jacoby Myers did not practice today, both dealing with ankle injuries. And with the loss of Davantae Adams, Jacoby Myers being, questionable on this week's injury report, brings me a little bit of concern. So that's why I don't think the Raiders are going to pull this win off. I'm going to take the Rams at home. Fuck the Rams.
I'm in agreement with Sean on this one. Rams are better in the coaching sphere. Leagues ahead. I think Sean McVay still, and he's a proven commodity head coach. He does more with less. He's an elite scheme guy. Matthew Stafford, although aged, is still a better quarterback than Aiden O'Connell. Even if he had Davantae Adams, I'd take Matthew Stafford over him. Their backup wide receivers have not been terrible or even bad. They've been serviceable in replacement for Puka and for Cooper. I think the Rams are going to win a close game, but I'll take the Rams confidently, though, at home.
Okay. All right. We're going to move on to the next game, which is a Super Bowl rematch from last year. Kansas City, fresh off a bye week, with a mid-performance from Patrick Mahomes this season, going up against Brock Purdy and the San Francisco 49ers. This one's tough for me. I think San Francisco has one of the most elite defenses in the league, if not the most elite defense. And Pat Mahomes has not been playing really fucking good at all. Yeah, in fact, I think this is Pat Mahomes' worst season that he's had. I'm taking the San Francisco 49ers to win this rematch.
I do like that pick. I pray for, the Chiefs' downfall. I wouldn't say that the Niners do have an elite defense. There's, kind of been some gaps that are being exposed this year. They lost back-to-back games against the Vikings and the Rams. They even lost to the Cardinals. It's the Chiefs. They're in a dynasty. They got Pat Mahomes. They have a great team around them. And you're right. Patrick Mahomes isn't playing like Patrick Mahomes this year. Can they bounce back, after this, this bye week? They've had a lot of time to, watch film, collaborate. They're very familiar with this 49ers team. But this is at home for San Francisco, and I think I'm going to stick with the home team. I'm going to go ahead and take the 49ers, and both undefeated teams are going to go down this week. I think after this week, the Vikings and the Chiefs are losing.
I'm going to have to contradict you both again on that. I think the Chiefs win. I'm pretty confident with this one. Reasons being, I'm a 49ers disbeliever. I hate them. They've taken everything from me many times. Multiple Super Bowl appearances taken from me because of the 49ers, so I will just get that out of the way. I am a bit biased against them. However, they are down Christian McCaffrey. They are going to more than likely beat you down Jordan Mason, down to their third-string running back. They have not been playing at an elite level so far this season. Brock Purdy has been good, but I think Kansas City's going to come off that bye week healthy. I think Kansas City is going to come out with some fresh schemes. And I just trust Kansas City in the key moments. The 49ers boogeyman has been the Kansas City Chiefs for a while. So I will take the Kansas City Chiefs. Close game, but I think ultimately, even though Patrick Mahomes isn't playing at the best levels in the key moments, he still puts it together. So I'll take a very close game, lower scoring. I think it's a more defensive game. Steve Spagnuolo and that Chiefs defense is also very elite, very good. I think turnovers are going to be the difference here, but I'll take the Chiefs.
All right. So we got another Monday night doubleheader. We're going to start with the Chargers-Cardinals first. The Los Angeles Chargers are flying to Arizona, to the Desert Heat, on a Monday night, where they play the Cardinals at home. Kyler Murray's having himself a hell of a season. However, I think Marvin Harrison Jr. is out with an injury. And honestly, James Conner ain't him. The Arizona Cardinals defense, mid. Los Angeles Chargers, overall, mid. So this is my mid-off of the week, but I think the Chargers will come out on top.
I like that pick, Zach. I'm going to go ahead and also, take the Chargers here. I know Kyler is, starting to find his rhythm, but Black Ops is coming out. I think he puts in more hours into Call of Duty than fucking watching film at this point in his fucking career. You are right. That defense is abysmal. I think, I don't know. The defense is just so questionable. I mean, the Lions put up 20 points against them in week 3. Jaden Daniels, our rookie quarterback, put up 42 points against that team. But I think the Chargers are a little bit more complete. They have a better head coach, an experienced head coach, mind you. Yeah, I'm going to go ahead and take the Chargers.
I'm in agreement with you guys taking the Chargers on this one. Arizona is just not consistent enough yet. Their offenses can be explosive at times, but they get bottled up by decent defenses. So without Marvin Harrison Jr. and with how inconsistent they've been, I'll take the more consistent and more proven commodity of the Jim Harbaugh coached Chargers.
All right, so the second Monday night game, which Sean and I will be attending. We will be in attendance. If you want to find us, we're in the 300s. If you want to come meet us, say hi. Don't be a fucking creep, but come say hi. Anywho.
Yeah, no Diddy shit, bro. No Diddy shit.
Yeah, no Diddy shit. Because I'll be going down to the Tampa Bay Police Department in fucking handcuffs if you try some Diddy shit on me. I'll Diddy you first, motherfucker. Anyways, we got the Baltimore Ravens flying into Tampa Bay. And you know what, man? That Ravens defense sucks big fat donkey dick. More dick than fucking, I don't know, fucking Riley Reid. And personally, I think the Bucs are going to come out on top on this one. I think Baker Mayfield looks like a stud, and I think that pass defense for Baltimore sucks absolute balls, and I think that's going to be the big key to this game.
I'm also going to take the Bucs here. The only thing that really concerns me is that rush defense. I mean, you got a quarterback like Lamar, who's a decent passer, but a better rusher, and Derrick Henry on the other side of the ball as well. I mean, that's going to be tough for the Bucs to handle. The Ravens have a questionable O-line, yes, but I like the Bucs here, man. They're starting to look hot. I know they kind of looked a little shaky last week against the Saints, but I mean, they were explosive in the second half. And like I said, man, Baker Mayfield he's got a lot of swagger, man. I use that word very lightly. I do not like saying that word. I think it's cringe, whatever. Give me the Bucs, man. I think Zach and I were both, Division I Raven haters. And yeah, this is totally not biased. Give me the Bucs.
Yeah, I'm not going to tolerate the Lamar slander going on in this podcast.
FLJ, fuck Lamar Jackson.
Things. He's not a good quarterback. He's not
a quarterback.
He's not that. He's
not a quarterback,
bro. He isn't. Bro, take away his rushing, and he's still a good quarterback.
Yeah, 327 passing yards, but
his numbers
can't
are good.
Even throw a fucking touchdown. Insane.
Let me ask you this: what's his team's record?
Go fuck yourself.
What's your team's record? Yeah. That I'm taking the Ravens confidently. The Bucks, although a good team, the Bucks are questionable in the run game. So if they get a lead, they can't run the ball and play time of possession. They want to be in a shootout every week, and they have to rely on their defense a lot more than they would like to. And their defense, although good, is not infallible, and they're playing against a very, very good offense. That is a top-tier running offense, and the Bucs struggle against the run. I don't know if Vita Vea is playing this week. I think he missed the week before. With Vita Vea, they have a better chance, but it's a two-headed monster back there with Lamar and Derrick Henry. I think the Ravens just have too many weapons. Their defense, although sus, they do get takeaways. They do have a good run defense. If they force the Bucs to be one-dimensional, if the Ravens get ahead early, especially if the Ravens get ahead early, let me just say that right now. Ravens get ahead early, it's going to get ugly, because then Derrick Henry's going to be able to run and run and run and run, and that's what they want to do. They want to play with the lead. So I'm going to take the Ravens.
Absolutely fair. I think it's fair, even though I'm Lamar Jackson's second biggest hater. That award goes to Sean Coldiron. He hates him more than I, because I know Lamar is elite. Don't get me wrong. Sean just thinks he's garbage.
But
he is not elite. I'm sorry. I can go on and on and on and on, and I really hope I don't have to do that 5-minute speech, because at the end of that fucking speech, I think I'm about to put a fucking 12 gauge in my mouth. We do not condone that behavior.
Yeah. He's a two-time MVP?
How many playoff wins?
Let me ask, how many Super Bowls does he have? 0, right? But that's the same amount as one Joseph Burrow.
Hey, at least he has a participation trophy.
Participation trophies don't mean anything. That's it. Close only counts in horseshoes and hand grenades, and this is football. Winning's all that matters.
Yeah, something the Ravens under Lamar Jackson don't fucking know when it comes to the postseason.
Yeah.
Anyways.
You got me there.
Anyways, we're going to flip-flop to the AFC now, even though we still have one interconference matchup we skipped over. We skipped it over on purpose. Patriots, Jaguars, I think this goes without discussion. Doug Peterson needs to be fired after this game because he's about to get fucking mollywopped by a mid-Patriots team.
Not much to say there, Zach, but yeah, we're traveling to London. Yeah, Doug Peterson's in the hot seat for sure. I'm just so torn. The Patriots, I mean, they beat the Bengals week 1. Everyone's like, the Patriots are going to win the division. No, I don't think Jared Mayo is that great of a head coach. I think Doug Peterson is a better head coach. Trevor Lawrence really needs to find his rhythm, and typically and historically, the Jags do have a little bit of success in London. I know it was a little shaky last week against the Bears, but I don't know. Give me the Jags, I guess. They're at home, technically, kind of. Give me the Jags.
Confidently. Give me... Why am I forgetting who's playing the Jaguars right now? I was literally just about to say their name,
Patriots.
And I forgot their name. I was thinking of Drake May's name the whole time because it's not even really. It's really how good is Drake May going to be? So I'll take Draketh Mayeth and the Patriots because listen, Patriots defense not top 5, maybe not top 10, but definitely top 15 in the league. Jaguars suck. Let's just be honest. The Jaguars suck. They can't run the ball. They have poor scheming on offense. Doug Peterson's a lame duck head coach down there. Trevor Lawrence is not the chosen one. He's gotten a raw deal at the head coach position for every coach of his career, but he was not worth all the money they paid. The Jags don't have the firepower to win this game, in my opinion. I don't think they're explosive enough. I don't think they're consistent enough. So, yeah. I think Drake May is going to go out there. He looked really hot towards the end of that game last week, and he had some impressive throws. So give me the slightly more explosive this week rather than last week Patriots. Confidently, I think they come out on top, and I think Doug Peterson gets fired.
Yeah, I think you're right there. And this is, honestly, no offense to Colts fans, this is my snooze fest game of the week. It's just a fucking snooze fest. Dolphins, who are just hurt, mangled even, going up against the Colts, whose defense is awesome. Their offense is also mangled, but I'm going to take the Colts.
Yeah. I'm going to go ahead and take the Colts as well. I mean, you might as well park the Miami Dolphins tour bus in the handicap parking spot. I mean, it's just a very unfortunate situation. I really like Tua, man. He has a lot of charisma, a lot of chemistry with the guys, Tyreek Hill, all that stuff. But man, I mean, the Dolphins just can't catch a break. And yes, they did say Tua is going to play again this year, but there's no timetable for that. And that concerns me with Tua, because I honestly thought he was going to retire. I mean, he just had a concussion. Typically with a concussion, I mean, you're out maybe 2 weeks, but they put this man on the IR. I mean, you could literally see his body fucking twitching as he hit the ground once again. Colts are a more, all-around complete team. And maybe the Dolphins could be in that situation if they were healthy here. But, yeah, I'm going to go ahead and take the Colts.
Yeah, I agree with Sean. I'm taking the Colts. Listen, the Dolphins had Super Bowl aspirations at the beginning of this year. Really, as we have discussed in private amongst our friends, our friend Dalton, he's a Dolphins fan, and we've discussed with him before. The season really relied on Tua's health. If Tua was healthy, the Dolphins could make a deep playoff run. This is their window. And unfortunately, because of Tua's health, the window's probably shut. Even if he was to come back, it's only going to take 1 or 2 more hits and he's done. At this point, I just want the dude to do what's best for his health and his family. We'll see what the doctors say and whatnot. But the Colts have Joe Flacco, Anthony Richardson. I don't really care who the starting quarterback is there. I just think the Colts are going to be a more complete team in the moment. Don't be surprised if the Dolphins are competitive. They still have good weapons, but Tyler Huntley's not as good as Joe Flacco, and I don't think he's as good as Anthony Richardson either. So I'll take the Colts.
All right. So we are cracking down. We're at the back end of, we've maybe got 4 or 5 games left to choose from. We got the Tennessee Titans, who are going to get absolutely mollywopped by the Bills. I don't even need to say anymore. Amari Cooper is going to have a fantastic first game with the Bills. Josh Allen looks like a fucking stud when he plays. This is like a no-brainer for me.
Yeah, this is going to be my lock of the week. I'm definitely, if you guys are Amari Cooper fantasy owners, this is a must-start this week. Give me the Bills.
Yeah, I'm in agreement with you guys there. I think the Bills are going to be a more complete team having added Amari. I don't know if he's going to play this week. He's got to learn the playbook. But still, I want to take the Bills. I think that they have a potential MVP quarterback, Josh Allen, elite. So, yeah, I'll take the Bills. They've got a better, more complete team.
Is Will Levis going to start clip farming again? We'll see. I don't know.
Hey, he's every start so far. Every start so far. Don't put it past him. And I agree with Sean. If I'm a betting guy, I would look at the odds for the Bills and see some stats for Josh Allen. Last week I had a parlay on him. He didn't hit the rushing yards goal, but he hit his passing goals. So I would say maybe look into Josh Allen having a good game against the Titans.
All right, 3 games left, boys. These are probably the 3 most relevant games to the podcast this week because they all have teams involved that we discussed about. The first one being the New York Jets, who are flying to Pittsburgh to Yinstown and playing the Steelers. Now, the Jets did say Davantae Adams intends on playing his first game with the Jets this week. Do I think that's going to be game changer? Like Hunter said, maybe for fantasy teams. However, who's going to start for the Steelers this week is the real question. Are they going to keep Justin Fields in, who's had a fantastic year? Are they going to finally play a healthy Russell Wilson? I don't think it's going to matter. I think the Jets are going to win, even if Davantae doesn't know the playbook. It's just that chemistry between the two. I think it'll play a factor, but I think this is going to be a close game. Very close game. Like, I'm talking about 3 points close.
I really want to say the Jets, but like I said earlier, man, it's going to be so hard for those traffic cones, behind Aaron Rodgers to hold off the Steelers defense. I mean, I think the Steelers defense could be one of the best, arguably the best currently right now in the league. And what's crazy to me too is going back to the Justin Fields thing. I mean, He has over 10 total touchdowns this year, 1 interception over, I think, at least 1,000 passing yards, and they're considering to bench him. I don't know who's making these decisions. It could be Mike. Obviously, it's probably Mike Tomlin. I mean, he's a great head coach, probably arguably one of the greatest head coaches of all time. And if you think otherwise, I'll go back and forth all fucking day with you. And I am a Steeler hater. Obviously, I'm a Bengal fan, so obviously I'm gonna, hate the Steelers, talk shit about them. But I have so much respect for Mike Tomlin, and that Steelers organization. I cringed saying that. But I just don't think the Jets are going to get it done. That Steelers defense is just too good. And I think this is unfortunately going to be my other lock of the week. I'm going to take the Steelers, man.
All right. Well, I think my pick really hinges on who's going to start a quarterback. I think the Steelers are going to do the common sense thing. You don't fix something that isn't broke, right? So you keep Justin Fields in. If Justin Fields plays, I like the Steelers' chances a lot more than if they played Russell Wilson, who could be a little rusty, having been benched at the later portions of last year, and he hasn't played this year. So that being said, it's still uncertain. They haven't said who they're going to start. I like Sean's point to the Steelers' really, really, really good defense. They have an elite pass rush, and I mean elite, maybe the best in league pass rush-wise. TJ Watt's going to have a field day if those Jets offensive linemen don't lock down and double team him when they need to. Need to get enough time for Aaron in the pocket. Secondary for the Steelers is really good. Aaron's been more prone to turnovers. Steelers on the other side, though, Steelers are playing against a good defense too. Justin Fields could have a bad game. Russell Wilson could have a bad game. The Steelers can't run the ball. Their O-line's just as bad as the Jets. They can't run the ball. Justin Fields has all the rushing yards. He can throw it. He can't run it and throw it, do everything. He can't protect the ball as an O-lineman. Even if Justin Fields plays, I think I've talked myself into it. I'm going to go with the Jets.
All right. So, we've all come to a consensus on who we want to choose for every game except for our favorite teams. And Houston is flying to Green Bay. This is going to be a fucking cowboy shoot-off. Because these two quarterbacks, they're fucking studs. Absolute fucking studs. I could argue for either team, personally. I mean, the Packers have a great young team. Honestly, I think they have the brightest future in the NFL right now. I think, truthfully, within the next 4 years, they're winning a Super Bowl. But, and I hate to say this because I love the Packers, CJ Stroud, Stephon Diggs, Tank Dell. I don't know if Nico Collins is coming back from injury. I don't think he is. And Joe Mixon.
IR, baby.
Joe Mixon, man, on the ground, has been one of the top running backs in the fucking league, dude. Honestly, I mean, oh, bro, don't even get me started, bro. I will literally cry. I will literally fucking cry. I'm not playing. I do think the Texans are going to come on top this week in a very, very close game.
I'm going to also take the Texans here. I do like Jordan Love. He was my MVP pick this year, but he did miss a couple weeks. So, I mean, I'm not saying he's not going to win it this year, but that did take away the chances of him winning that award a little bit. But I think the Texans are all around a more complete team. They have been red hot these last couple weeks. I mean, that offense is fantastic. Will Anderson on defense has been tearing things up, for the offenses. I mean, they beat the Bills, who are a great team. I know I think the only loss this year was with, was it Minnesota? It was Minnesota, but man, I just think the Texans are just, they're red hot, man. 4-game win streak. I don't see them slowing, or a 3-game win streak right now. I don't see anything, slowing them down.
Yeah, I'm going to disagree. I'm going to take the Packers, and that's my lock of the week. Listen. I'm not picking them as my lock just because I'm their, I'm the biggest Packers fan I know. I'm sure there's more out there. It's my team. I am biased. That being said, Jordan Love, despite missing 3 games this season, he's still number 2 or 3 in almost every passing category. He's tied with Joe Burrow for second in TDs, passing TDs in the league, despite missing 3 games. Joe Burrow's played in all of them, I believe. Maybe not one, but he's pretty much played in all of them. Jordan Love has looked elite other than a few turnovers, little bobble passes here and there that went into the defender's hands. I think that the Packers have a great run game, a more consistent run game. Josh Jacobs is much more healthy than Joe Mixon at times. He's been leading the league in certain rushing categories, outside of Derrick Henry, that is. Packers defense, young, but their secondary, very, very good. Jerry Alexander is a lockdown cornerback. He can lock down Stephon. He can lock down Nico if he was out there. He can lock down whoever the other guy is. What was the other guy's name? Something Mac, right?
Tank
Anyways. Tank Dell, there you go. Tank Dell, yeah, he'd lock him down too. I think that, and the Packers, by the way, best safety group in the league, bar none. Xavier McKinney has more interceptions than multiple, and I'm not talking like 1, 2, or 3, like 10 teams. He has more interceptions than 10 teams in the league himself. He has 6 interceptions, 1 for almost every week of the season. So, and it literally took place in 1 in every week of the season, except for 1. Last week, I believe, was when the streak was broken. Packers have led the league in takeaways. Packers have a good pass rush. Packers have a great offensive line that I think is going to neutralize the Texans' defensive line. They don't typically give up a lot of sacks, and they've been really good this year. Packers are a complete team. They don't need to rely on any one thing. I think both teams offensively are very complete. I just like the Packers' defense more. I think the Packers' defense is more opportunistic. They're at home. They have one of the best home field advantages in the league. I'm taking Green Bay. They're my lock.
You know, he makes a compelling argument, but I'm not switching my team. I'm locked in. I'm locked in.
It's okay. Just remember that when you're giving your speech next week, buddy.
All right. Speaking of potential speeches I might give next week, the Bengals are playing a team I might have to give a fucking speech on. And if I have to, I'm going to put the 9mm in my mouth. Anywho, the Bengals are going to Cleveland. And in the Joe Burrow era, the Bengals have only won one time in Cleveland. Just once. Now, there are some key factors about this game. Nick Chubb potentially playing. However, if he plays, I think he'll be limited. And who knows what he's going to look like when he plays. The Browns' defense ain't looking as good as it used to be. I think Joe Burrow could pick them apart. However, the Bengals' defense, absolutely fucking abysmal. Probably the worst defense in the league. And I'm not even exaggerating when I say that. They're probably the worst defense in the league. However, Deshaun Watson, one of the worst QBs in the league. So I think the Browns are probably going to put the ball in Chubb or Ford's hands a lot in this game. And if they don't, the Bengals will eat these motherfuckers alive. However, I do think the Bengals will win. I think the Bengals will win in a close contested game in a high-scoring endeavor. I think the over's definitely hitting in this game, but I got the Bengals on top.
Zach, I think you said it perfect there. I was just about to say I can see this being, a very high-scoring divisional game once again, just like that Ravens game a couple weeks ago. I mean, both teams scored over 35 points. Defenses were basically non-existent. No one was to be found on the defensive side of the ball. But, you're right. Deshaun Watson, terrible. Just absolutely fucking terrible. Nick Chubb coming back could be a little bit scary. Is he going to be as good as he was, 2 years ago? I mean, he was averaging over 5.5 yards a carry. I mean, that's just crazy numbers. Obviously, the Bengals' running defense can't stop that. But with the loss of Amari Cooper and the way the defense has been playing this year, a little exposed. I think they're still good, but definitely see a high-scoring affair. I'm going to be biased here, just like Hunter was with the Packers. I'm going to take the Bengals.
May I ask, who's the home team?
The Browns.
Cleveland.
Cleveland's the home team. Okay. Well, it's not going to affect my decision, I don't think. But Cleveland's path to victory here is clearly going to be time of possession. They need to run the ball, put it in Nick Chubb's hands, put it in Ford's hands, play effective play action. Whenever they're not running the ball, they need to run off the play action, get the ball in a few playmakers' hands like Njoku, They need to capitalize on takeaways from the defense. And most importantly, like I said, time of possession. You cannot let Joe Burrow have the ball all game. You have to keep the ball out of his hands. The more you have time of possession, the less likely the Bengals are to get down the field and score on you. That being said, I don't see them containing the Bengals. I don't see them containing the dynamic offense that they have. Now, they are hampered by a lame duck head coach and Zach Taylor and a run game that's not been very effective this year. But I'm very confident in Joe Burrow's ability. It is a tough defense. Cleveland has an elite defense. No questions asked. I could see Cleveland winning. When it all comes down to one simple thing in the NFL. Oftentimes you can look at a matchup or any game in general, look at the quarterback. Which quarterback you think is better? Who do you think is going to win? I think Joe Burrow is going to beat a rapist. So I'll take Joe Burrow.
All right. Our picks are locked in. We're going to close out the podcast with a little game. We've kind of been serious all day. I think it's time we tone it down. And I kind of want to end the week on doing something like this, something a little more fun for every podcast that we do. So, you guys are going to play a game, and I'm going to coordinate it. You guys are not allowed to speak until you hear a quarterback better than Joe Burrow. Yep, of course there's an ongoing theme here. We're Bengals fans. We're Costco guys. All right.
We're Costco guys.
Now, we're going to start with modern players. Derek Carr. Sean, why don't you explain to the class? I'm just kidding. I'm kidding. All right.
Sorry, I was just laughing.
Jaden Daniels.
I want to speak.
Are you going to speak before I say the next team?
No, he hasn't. He hasn't done as much as Joe Burrow. I'll give it to Joe for now.
Justin Fields.
Come back to me at the end of the year. No.
Russell Wilson.
No.
Mayo Man. Will Levis.
Oh, Mayo Man? No.
Deshaun Watson.
No.
Tua Tagovailoa.
No. The best ability is availability, and Tua is not on the field. God
Okay.
bless him in his health, but
Kirk Cousins.
no.
Interesting. Interesting indeed. CJ Stroud.
As of right now, I'd have to look at their stats very close. I'll still take Joe.
Uh-oh. Patrick Mahomes.
Yes. What?
Give me Mahomes. Give me Mahomes.
Okay. All right, so you guys don't even need to explain this one. This dude's got 3 Super Bowl rings. He's broken fucking records. I would normally have you guys explain your answer. However, we could play one more round.
Yeah, that guy's top of the mountain.
I'm going to let you guys choose the position we choose next.
All right. Let's do wide receiver.
I was going to say that.
I'm going to randomly spin a team and choose their wide receiver 1.
Okay. He's going to get Carolina.
Justin
Adam
Jefferson.
Justin Jefferson? Nope.
He's in
There
his
will
own-
be not. There's not
Yeah,
there.
no.
He is the one.
Hold on.
He is the one. You can't.
You know what's
can't pick
funny?
them.
Who said I was going to name modern wide receivers?
Oh, okay. Historical. Okay, here we go.
Ooh.
I like this.
Because
I
I,
like
I
this
knew
more.
something like this would happen, so I had to obviously pull this out of my back pocket. All right. Here we go. Best NFL wide receivers. I'm going to start with some modern ones. Because maybe there's some arguments here. Amon-Ra
Okay.
St. Brown.
No.
Mike Evans.
Consistent.
Great
but no.
career. Great career. First bout Hall of Famer, but no.
Stevie Smith Sr.
Good career, but no.
Hines Ward.
No.
Tyreek Hill.
No.
No.
My favorite.
It's a person. I'd say it's personal choice, but no.
My favorite cracker, Antonio Brown.
No.
Sean's over here like.
That's my dude, man. That's my cracker. Fuck.
Chad Ochocinco.
No. I love Ochocinco, but no.
Terrell Owens.
T.O.
Yeah.
At his peak, T.O. is there's at his peak. There's maybe 3 receivers in his realm, and that's Randy Moss, Megatron, Jerry Rice. That's the best 4 of all time with T.O. Number 5 could be JJ when he's done, but I think that's the greatest 4 of all time, and so JJ is just outside of T.O.
Yeah, I mean, the dude averages like 15 yards a fucking reception. I mean, I'm looking at his, career now. I mean, these numbers are just fucking stupid, dude. Like, in 2000, he was averaging 100 receiving yards a game. Could you imagine him having on your fantasy team? I mean, yeah, T.O., that's a no-brainer. I'm sorry.
All right. Hunter chose the last position. We have time for one more. Sean, what position do you want to do?
Let's stick with the offensive theme. I'm going to switch it up. You think I'm going to go running back? I'm going to go tight end.
I like this. All right, we're going to choose a modern tight end on this list.
Okay.
Spinning the wheel now. Oh, shit. Hold on. Sorry, I forget what his name was. Oh, wow. Okay. 1 second.
1.
Dude, fuck off. Evan Ingram.
There's so
Name
many.
a tight end. Name a tight end.
We'll start with some moderns, and then it'll get a little progressively harder. Kyle Pitts.
He's better. Kyle Pitts is better.
So,
Kyle Pitts is better, bro. Like, Evan
Butterfingers.
Ingram's got numbers, but Kyle Pitts is a way more dynamic athlete.
Butterfingers. I'm going to say no.
we'll keep it going until Sean gets a
All right.
for sure.
It'll be
Another
it'll
one.
be-
Mike
it'll probably be the
Gesicki.
next one.
Mike Gesicki. I
love
would
the way
take
he hits the gritty,
Evan
but-
Ingram over Mike Gesicki.
Yeah, I'm gonna agree. Yeah, Evan Ingram still.
Ooh. Fuck, what's his name? Fuck, I'm sorry. I'm bad with names, guys. Sam Laporta.
Laporta.
Yes.
No question, Laporta. He's top 3 in the league.
Yep.
All right. We do have time for one more. Fuck it. I'm going to choose the position this time. And defense ain't getting enough love right now. What the fuck, man?
Sorry, dude.
Yeah, bro.
Yeah.
We're going to be naming the best defensive lineman of all time. Me. No, I'm just kidding. We're going to choose one on the spinny wheel. The spinny wheel has selected... Oh, shit. Nick Bosa.
Okay. That's pretty good. Nick Bosa.
Okay, here we go. We're going to start with some modern, then we'll get into some all-time greats.
Wait, is it it's Nick Bosa?
Oh, my goodness. All right, so Trey Hendrickson.
Trey Hendrickson or Nick Bosa? Nick Bosa.
Valid. Not going to lie, very valid.
Hendrickson's great, but I just think Nick Bosa is more elite.
Excuse me, hold on. All right. The next one's going to be DeMarcus Walker.
Nick Bosa.
And Nick Bosa.
Nick Bosa. Listen, I'm not biased against this guy because I hate him, okay? Like, Nick Bosa gives me nightmares.
Yeah, Nick Bosa does give me nightmares. I'm not going to lie. Sorry, I've got to do some research.
Him and Fred Warner, man, those guys are absolute monsters on that defense.
Calais Campbell.
Nick Bosa.
Yeah. I don't know what I'm thinking here. Sorry. Yep, Nick Bosa.
Okay. The next person we're going to choose is DJ Jones.
Who?
Nick Bosa.
Oh, another DJ. DJ Reader.
Nick Bosa.
Can he come back to the Bengals?
Yeah, that wouldn't be bad. Danielle Hunter.
Nick Bosa. I have never seen Danielle Hunter take over a playoff game like I have Nick Bosa. Multiple times.
All right. The next one is going to be Grover Stewart.
Nick Bosa.
Oh, this one is interesting. Everyone's favorite cracker, Max Crosby.
Nick Bosa.
Wow.
Yeah.
Are we going to get one better than Nick Bosa? Probably not. Jalen Carter.
Go historical, if not modern. Jalen Carter, Nick Bosa.
Okay. All right. I don't know if we're going to find one better.
I'll tell you a modern one.
Go ahead.
Defensive line. So you'll say edge rusher, right?
Any defensive line. It could be nose tackle.
Defensive end edge rusher, TJ Watt.
Yeah.
Yeah, I was going to say that.
And
TJ Watt's the best defensive lineman.
All right.
If you count him, because he's edge rush. So.
All-time greats. Reggie White.
Yes.
The spin move.
I was going to go Warren
The greatest
Sapp
spin
next.
move of all time. Oh, I'd take Warren Sapp.
I had so many names ready to go.
Bro, keep going. I love the historical
Geno
defensive
Atkins.
line. Geno Atkins, I'll take Nick Bosa.
Yes, I'll take Bosa.
Richard Seymour.
Seymour. All day Richard Seymour.
JJ Watt.
Yes.
Oh, JJ or Nick Bosa? JJ.
Leroy Selman.
Leroy Selman all day.
Shout out Tampa. Give me Leroy.
Yeah. Julius Peppers.
Julius Peppers. I'll take Julius Peppers. Packers and Carolina Panthers legend. That's a Hall of Famer right there. Julius Peppers absolutely took over some games.
All right.
Integral guy.
This will be the last one I say.
For two good teams.
This will be the last one. Michael Strahan.
All right. Oh, no question. Michael Strahan.
My goat. That's my goat. I'm not going to lie. I love Michael
I'll
Strahan.
kick a field goal in between those teeth.
I remember watching him break the sack record, and Brett Favre let him sack him. Brett Favre was like, "Oh, he touched me. I fall to the ground now." But he got it. He worked hard for that.
He did. Well, that's all for this week. We might continue a different game next week if you guys tune into the Coldiron Gridiron. Hunter, Zach, and Sean, appreciate you guys listening. If you guys haven't already, check out our sister podcast, which isn't even related to football. So if you want to be like Myles Garrett and hit people upside the head with helmets, but instead of helmets, it's swords, bows and arrows, and even magic, check out the Forge D20 podcast. We got Tales of Lodrianth, our sci-fi campaign, and Thrones, our more stereotypical fantasy campaign that we're playing. Please give us a look. Do you guys have any closing statements or notes?
Sean, I'll you first.
Houday, big game this week. Please fire Zach Taylor. No, other than that, I'm set to go. I'm just glad to be back on the podcast. Apologies we missed last week. Mother Nature had some other plans, but we appreciate everyone that tunes in, each and every week, or maybe if you're tuning in for the first time, thanks for listening to us, rant about the Bengals, and, shout out Hunter, brother, for hopping on the podcast here, man. I'm excited to have you on future episodes. Excited to have future new guests join us. Next week we should have another one. I did have a little bit of a technical issue, but we'll get your brother Parker in here hopefully very soon.
Yes, sir. And I appreciate you guys having me on here. It was very fun. I had a lot more fun than I even expected. I expected to have fun, but I didn't expect to have that much fun chatting football with you guys. Thanks for having me on. Thanks for everybody listening. If I gave too much of a hot take or I said something you didn't like, leave a comment. I'd love to see it. I'd love to read it, and I'd love to hear any feedback that y'all get referring to my appearance here. But thank you guys for having me on once again. And if you guys want to have me on again at any point, just reach out, and I'd love to do it again. Thanks, you guys.
Oh, absolutely.
Absolutely. Make sure you guys follow us on X at Cold Grid Pod. You can follow me on Instagram at Cold Forge Steel, and follow Sean on X at SPCold69. All right, guys. Well, thank you. Have a great evening, and take it easy. Bungle Jungle,
Take it easy.
out.